project to build a machine related to something that is very close to you. Something that you are passionate about. After months of hard work, it is finally time for testing. You start the machine up only for it to not work. What do you do to fix it? You change. This change could be in your model, in your approach, in anything. But one thing is clear, you change it. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ananya Tharna, a student at 10th grade at RES, and today I'm going to be talking about change. I believe that change should be seen as not an obstacle or an adversity, but instead as an opportunity for us to improve ourselves. We all have the ability to evolve to become better human beings by embracing change, and we should take it. Let's be clear, I'm not advocating for us to blindly accept any change that occurs, because sometimes change can be bad. But rather, I'm urging all of us to accept that change is inevitable, and we can either sit around while change occurs, or we can do something about it and use it as a tool to make ourselves better. So, let's first talk about what change is. According to Google, which I'm sure you all go to when you want to know something, change is to become something different. Or it can be a transition, substitution, or alteration. But I don't believe such few words can encompass the true essence of change. I believe that change is a phenomenon. Change can be dynamic, but it can also be constant. Change can be big, like a change in relationships or living situation. Or change can also be small, like a simple change of clothing. Change can be personal, affecting only you. Or change can also be universal, like a change in seasons. Change is always occurring around us, making it a staple part of our lives. If I were to talk about change, I could go on and on for an indefinite amount of time. But this speech does have a time limit. So today, I'll focus on personal change, which is change that affects you as a person. So, I personally have faced a lot of changes throughout my life. One of these massive transitions for me was moving to India. I am an Indian. If you look under my passport, under nationality, it says in big bold letters, Indian. But can you believe that I had never lived in India before I was 6? When I was 6, all my memories were kind of hazy, but this one day I clearly remember getting into a van in June, and everyone was silent for some reason. I didn't understand why, but I soon realized that I was moving to India. And the catch is that my whole family was not coming with me. We were leaving my dad behind. I was distressed because I was very attached to my parents, and I didn't want to live with both of them separated. But I had no choice. My mom had to go to India for medical treatment, and my dad could not take care of me alone in Thailand. This obviously distressed me a lot, and I felt very hurt. I now understand why my parents made that decision, but at that time, I really just wanted to stay with my family. When I finally moved to India, I was completely out of my zone. I was enrolled in a school, but I barely even met the qualifications for enrollment. I had lived in Thailand all my life, and this meant that I didn't know how to speak Hindi or write it, which was my home language. I also didn't know how to write in cursive, which was what the teachers accepted at that time. I was a problematic student. I was failing in class. My grades were non-existent considering the amount of zeros I had. I had no friends. Life was just hard for me. I couldn't adjust to this change at all. And the worst part is, I didn't want to adjust to it. Some part of me still believed that if I threw enough tantrums, if I caused enough havoc, I would go back to the way things were before. I would go back to Thailand and I would live with my family happy ever after. But that did not happen. And this time was not good for anyone, but my attempts at resisting this change made it even worse for me. There was not a time when things gradually changed. Things changed and life just became better. But when I did accept that I was stuck in India and I changed my mindset, things gradually started to improve. I finally took the initiative to ask my teacher for help. And can you believe that she didn't even know that I wasn't understanding what she was teaching in class? With her guidance, my writing skills finally improved and I started understanding class. My grades didn't skyrocket, but I did go from a failing one to an average one, to eventually in 2 or 3 years, an outstanding one. So this may all sound like a fairy tale, but think about it. If I showed resistance to this massive change that I faced, would I have ever improved? Would I have ever been where I am today? I think not. Being more open to change helped me make my life much easier and helped me gain this myriad of experiences that I wouldn't trade for anything else in the world. This is not just the case for me. Studies have shown that having a more positive attitude to change can increase your psychological well-being and actually make you healthier. One such study is a study in psychological well-being it's a study in corresponding coping strategies, psychological well-being, and dispositional resilience, done by the University of Catania, Sicily, where they interviewed 183 students. And what they did was they asked these students on how their attitude was towards challenge and change. They asked these students how they felt about college life. They asked these students how they coped with challenges and what their coping strategies were. The results of this study were clear. They showed a positive correlation between dispositional resilience, which is your ability to handle change, and psychological well-being, which is the amount of stress you face. This meant that the more open you were to change, the better you were, the less stress you faced. It's also the same for the opposite. So the more you showed resistance to change, the more stress you faced. So you may be asking, what can I do with all of this information you just dumped on me? Well, now that you know that showing resistance to change is bad, and being more open to change is good, consider adopting an open attitude towards change. And how can you do that? Well, one way to do so is by having a growth mindset. I'm sure you all have heard of growth mindset. It has numerous benefits. One of these benefits it helps you be more open to change. Carol Dweck, one of the leading people in innovation and mindsets, has said that having a growth mindset can positively impact the way you approach and handle change. And how can you have a growth mindset? Well, I have 3 steps for you. The first step is you should approach challenges, because challenges help you face situations that are new to you, and they help you develop your thinking skills. Second, you should set goals for yourself, because goals give you an end project to look at, and they help you improve yourself. And the third, the most important of all, is that you should have self-compassion. In my time in India, had I never believed that I could have done it and I could have gotten better at studying, I don't think I would have actually been where I am now. And this is why I believe that having self-compassion is the most important thing to be more open to change and have a growth mindset. Imagine a world where everyone embraces change. This is a world where discrimination is non-existent, a world where creativity can thrive, and people are free to change the world for the better. This is the world I strive for, and I hope you do too. Change is a phenomenon. It is always occurring, whether we notice it or not. To embrace it is a choice we all face. Embracing change is just the first step in having a happy and healthy future for us all. Thank you.